Winter's Tale, the Winter's Tale monologue. This is my second classical monologue, and the reason it's my second classical monologue, not my first, is because it's, even though it does show a contrast to the other two pieces, the Rare Birds and Henry VI, it's still, them two monologues show more of a contrast, and I know that's something that I will be asked about. It's something that I'll be asked about in an actual audition, contrasting monologues, and I believe that them two are the more contrasting, and I can show more difference physically, vocally, and psychologically in them. So this one is more of a king than Henry VI, and that would be shown physically by the broad shoulders and head and the chin placement being upwards. But the difference between Henry VI and Winter's Tale is the eye line would be up as well, and if you were performing it in the Globe Theatre, there's not many times that you go down to the bottom of the stage. Like, you don't direct it to the bottom, you always direct it to the top. Even though the backstory to this piece is that he has just been cheated on, and he's saying that every person who has a wife will despair because they're all rubbish and they'll all cheat on you, saying it in a nice way, that he's given up with women and he thinks they're all revolted wives, is the quote in the monologue that he uses. That emotion, that rawness, is something that I will show vocally, and that I believe in my rehearsal of it, which was my first rehearsal off script as well, that I did even learning it. The should all despair that have revolted wives, the pronunciation is crucial for this one, because it's not RP, but it's also not my accent. I need to be able to pronunciate every single letter to get the meaning across, because if I said it in my accent, should all despair that have revolted wives, I miss out some consonants which are very important, and again communicate that to the audience. That's the main thing that I wanted to focus on throughout my entire monologue repertoire. It's the first time that they are listening to the piece. It's not my first time performing it, but for them it will be, and that emotion has to be shown across. And through rehearsing Rare Birds, I found that out, and then when I came to learning this one, I decided to make those little changes so that when it comes to actually doing the piece and actually performing the piece, I've already got those little changes in terms of pronunciation, accent in vocal expression, physicality, and that you can see the character's thoughts as they go across as the monologue progresses. Again, I haven't spent as much time on this one, so there isn't as much as there would be in Rare Birds or in Henry VI, but physically I know that I want to stand my ground. I'm telling someone, go cheat, everyone cheats, that's it's not fine for me, but it's fine for everyone else. Hence the line, so disgraced apart, whose issue will hiss me to my grave. The issue being that his wife can cheat on him and he's not thought about, whereas if he did it, people would kill him. That's the kind of atmosphere created, and he would hold his ground more in this piece than I would perform Henry VI, because he's quite childlike and quite movement based. The movement would be majority of the time in my arms, and maybe a slight turn of the body one way and a slight turn of the body the other way, which can be done through my shoulders, simply through my shoulders. The eye line would stay unless I'm talking to someone, so go, play boy, play, and then I go on to my own little bit on the side. But again, I don't think there should be much movement in this apart from arm movements. For example, brushing my arm out when I say go, play boy, play, telling him to go away and do all of this that I go on to say. I think, again, vocally, I've addressed that. Physically, I don't think he should move much. I think that's the best idea, because I think if he did move much, that would take away the focus from the monologue, and it wouldn't impact the audience as much. I think that's, if I did have enough movement, it wouldn't show, number one, that I'm a king, that I'm a respected figure, and number two, the annoyance and the anger that I possessed throughout the entire time. If I did choose to walk around when I come to rehearsing this in the future and working on this, it would be thought out, and the gait that I would walk with would have to have intention in every single footstep to show that anger, to show that belief in my head that what's happened is wrong. But apart from that, that's where I'm up to at the minute with this monologue. So yeah.